last night World Series Game 6 marred with controversy. Did Trey Turner run in the running lane or did he not? All I know about baseball is that it's a long-ass game to begin with. So if you're going to be adding 5 minutes to look at something that can't even be looked at, that's the best part. What are we even doing? Trey Turner yelling from the dugout to just go ask Joe
Torre,
who's sitting right there, who's the director, chief baseball operator. Just ask him what happened. It was very interesting. I mean, I guess that couldn't be reviewed anyways under the baseball bylaws. Martinez, the manager of the Nationals, got kicked out because of it. He's had a heart attack just recently, I guess. Now he's potentially going in for another one because of his passion for how bad those umps were. I have no idea what a strike or a ball is if it wasn't for that box that's on the screen. I know that they miss the box sometimes and they call it a strike. People say that's the novelty of baseball. I enjoy the novelty of baseball and things like that, especially whenever there's billions and billions of dollars on the line, both gambling and professionally. I like whenever there's this novelty, whatever this old man wants to call is that. But whenever you go and replay something for 5 extra minutes in a game that is already too long, me as an outsider who's watching the World Series because it's the World Series just goes, man, the MLB continues to just not have their crap together. It just feels like they just don't have their ish together. That's really what it feels like. And that's what it looked like last night. Should not take away from the fact, though, that Steven Strasburg is a lumberjack. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. They showed him walking off the field a couple times. He is a massive individual. Yeah. His legs. He is a redwood, that guy. Strasburg is a redwood of a man. I mean, he was massive. Almost. Now, why don't they just let him complete the game there?
Matchups maybe, and you're who knows? Maybe they're thinking it's possible that he's running on adrenaline and maybe they need to use him tonight at some point for a little bit.
Will they let a pitcher go back-to-back nights?
Game 7, yeah. I mean, it's the last game of the season.
Randy Johnson did it in the same situation. They both threw 104 pitches in Game 6. Randy Johnson came back in Game 7, did an inning and a third after Schilling went to beat the Yankees.
And, by the way, that feels like Strasburg won 8 1/3 innings for the Nationals last night, wheeling, dealing, only giving up 2 runs. I mean, it was incredible to watch. And I was watching as a bystander, not somebody that knows baseball too much. I was like, let's let the guy go. Once he got through the 7th inning, I'm like, oh, they're letting this guy go. And then whenever they pulled him after 1 out, I was like, oh, let it happen. You know, because it was the backup manager or whatever, because the other guy got kicked out. I'm like, let it happen. Like, let 7 balls get yard right now on these backup pitchers. Instead, the guy finished it out. Now we force a Game 7 in Houston.
In Houston, yep.
Yeah, because they get 3 in a row because the other team got 3 in a row. In Houston, which Houston has not been able to win inside of. We were tried to get in one time. Took us 2 hours to get in. Saw the game. Did a Jose, 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 Jose. Jose, Jose chant. We felt like we were Astros fans, and they just got demolished. Last night they got demolished, whether that guy was running into baseline or not. I mean, it's a very interesting thing, this whole World Series. And I go back to that Tim Donaghy conversation. Mm-hmm. Tim Donaghy told us, yes, that Tim Donaghy, the Donaghy that cooked books and cooked games with the Mafia, movies coming out Friday, I believe.
Yep.
Called Inside the Game or something like that.
Inside Game, yep.
Inside Game, where he was an NBA ref that was cooking books for the Mafia with points and everything. And he said that the NBA basically tells their refs what to look for before games, kind of brainwashes the refs into calling a game for somebody who potentially needs it. If it's a playoff series, they have best of 7, and somebody's down 3-1. Let's get this thing to a 6th game here tonight. Let's make sure we call this. They don't tell the refs what to call and that they're doing it, but he said they influence what they're looking for through the evening, which could potentially hurt one team and help another team that needs to extend a series. Last night, complete opposite. I mean, the umpires, if they really wanted a Game 7, they would have said that guy was not interfering with the guy's catch. They would have kept him on there. So there was a lot of people tweeting me last night like, oh, Tim Donaghy's making his way to the MLB. I'm like, no, complete opposite, actually. Yeah. Those umps were actually hurting the game of baseball by not having the Nationals potentially help get a win and not extending it to Game 7. Ball don't lie, though. Soto took one 4,500 feet and flexed on him, which I absolutely loved. That Soto guy might save baseball. Okay, Soto might save baseball. Him flexing in the batter's box at the pitcher, as somebody who's just a novice baseball watcher, oh, I love it. They were showing me highlights on the internet last night. Him grabbing his crotch at the pitcher whenever they did something. Him shaking his head yes on a good pitch. It's almost like he's sparring with the pitcher, and I love that because normally it's like, well, don't throw your bat too hard or too far. Don't make eye contact with certain people. You're not even allowed to jog this particular direction because you're disrespecting the game. This Soto cat just like, I'm going to grab my right in this guy's face if I don't like what he's doing. I like Soto a lot. And to be 21 years old, I mean, there might be a Freddie Adu situation happening here.
Possible.
Very possible.
Danny Almonte
situation. But it don't matter how old he is. If he's 21, if he's 51, he is hitting balls further than everybody else on a more consistent basis in the biggest situations that you could possibly do it. Good for that kid. Good for the Nationals. And good for baseball getting a Game 7 tonight.
And then after he hits the ball 4,000 feet, he then pimps the bat the entire way down the first baseline.
Bregman did it.
Because Bregman did it.
Bregman did it, tried to hand off the bat to the first base coach. First base coach, zero self-awareness, zero awareness score of 0 on Madden. Drops the bat, doesn't even see it coming, goes for the high five. Bat ends up on the field. Altuve gives I guess that was very disrespectful. Mm-hmm. See, in my eyes, not growing up in the baseball world, I don't know why any of that is disrespectful. I don't know why throwing your bat is considered disrespectful. Like whenever I see them, pimp the bat or whatever afterwards, I love it. And they're like, oh, you're ruining the game. I'm like, ruining the game?
See,
yo, baseball. What, it's just a bunch of old whites over there?
It just matters what side of the ball you're on. That's all it is.
What do you mean?
Like if you're the pitcher and you see someone throw that bat up in the air like 40 feet.
Throw a better pitch, bro. If they don't want us dancing, keep us out the end zone, okay? A poet, Michael Irvin, said that on a 30 for 30 about the U. That is just how I feel about all sports, but I guess baseball is just not that way.
Well, I think pimping home runs, like that's just kind of part of the game now. Like pitchers, I think they are in that same mindset. It's like, all right, well, yeah, he beat me. I should have thrown a better pitch. Taking it down to first base like that, I thought that was just kind of dumb. He did it so early in the game too, where it's like, hey, this is a nightmare waiting to happen if because if the Nationals do this, like that's the kind of like bulletin board material that you don't necessarily need, but in a game like that, like they'll take that.
What bulletin board material is going to make you see a baseball better coming out of a pitcher's arm? You know what I mean? Like I don't fully understand the baseball world, the baseball
Well,
thoughts.
And then Bregman apologized for it after the game too, which is about as soft as you get. If you're going to do that and pimp it, then you got to own it.
I don't think he did on purpose though. I think he forgot to drop the bat, and he got halfway down. He was like, "Oh no, what do I do with this thing?" He was like, "I'm going to hand this off to the coach," and the coach not picking it up kind of threw him under the bus. But Soto answered how Soto should have answered when that situation happens, and that's just because I think I grew up in a sports where competition and talking is like almost promoted as opposed to like, oh, let's not disrespect the game. Like in the games I played, it was like, no, like that's what happens. Mm-hmm. If you get bombed on, like that's the type of things that are going to happen.